Hello and welcome. If you can, go ahead and close down your eyes, smoothing out your forehead, relaxing the corners of your eyes and your mouth. Unclench your jaw and relaxing your shoulders away from your ears. Let's collectively go ahead and take a nice deep breath in through the nose and exhale out the mouth. Another deep breath in. And really letting go, exhale out the mouth. Gently opening your eyes if you close them. Hello and welcome to Mindful Moves with me, Daniela Jent, your host. I'm just so happy to be back here in this beautiful space. It feels like I have been missing just speaking like in this type of environment, because it always feels like I'm just talking to a friend, a close friend. That's what I love about this whole setup. And I need to tell you quickly how I felt just before recording this. I was feeling so much at once. I was setting up the studio. As you can see, I have this beautiful new space behind me. I have always wanted something really like an aura behind me, or like the sun, or like the moon, and I have some really good friends who built this for me. So I'm super happy to be in my studio. It means that I have a dedicated space to just always speak to you guys in, which honestly makes my day. So that's a big change. But yeah, back to how I was feeling just before recording this. I was setting up everything. I was so excited that like creative work and this type of work, it's really something that just melts my whole being. It makes me so happy. Besides the point, that's why I was confused, because all of a sudden I was feeling a bit of resistance and I was feeling a little bit of, I don't know, my nervous system was basically just trying to speak to me. And this is why I love this work. I love the nervous system because it's so intricate and it's so wise beyond our monkey brain. It is so smart. Our body systems, and I'll explain why this makes sense. In a few episodes, maybe the second or third, I haven't decided yet, I will be speaking about why I basically took a whole year of healing offline. And in case, I'm sure most people know, but if you don't know, the time I recorded the first season last year, it was around this time, I was actually going through a very big breakup, and I just powered through. Like, if my nervous system at that point told me, hey, maybe you need to take a second and you need to pause, I was not listening. In the sense that I was doing all my healing modalities and I was doing everything that made me feel good. But when you go through something like that, like such a big, death and rebirth in relationships and yourself, probably what would have been best is to take the time. However, this is something that I wanted to share because I think that we often put people on a pedestal, whether they are retreat hosts or people sharing on social media talking about nervous system regulation like I do, or coaches, or anybody really who's sharing wisdom. I think that we think that they have everything sorted and that they are doing perfectly fine and that they are on top of the game always. But I wanted to share that with you because from the outside, if you go back and you look at season 1, I don't think it'll be that obvious that I was going through a really tough time at that point. Okay, to be fair, I was really just ignoring what was going on. I was just like, cool, it happened, whatever. But obviously then later on, I felt my feelings. The point being is we do not need to glamorize people because they have things to share. Every single one of us has something to share with the world. It might not be what I'm busy doing right now. It could be an idea. It could be a business. It could be absolutely anything. But every single one of us is human. And that is why I started this podcast, is even though I was going through such a rough time last year, I was still able to show up for myself, because this is something that I was planning and wanting to do forever, and I didn't want anything to really stop me. Didn't matter how big the life event was. And the reason I share this is I just think it's so important for us to all just come back to a space, especially through social media, especially through constantly looking at other people's lives. Just remember that every person is going through their healing journey in whatever way that looks like for them. And that life, and I've spoken about this in the last season about cycles in life, life is going to be constant cycles. It's always up and it's always down. It never really plateaus. There's always ups and downs. And it doesn't matter how knowledgeable someone is or how many healing modalities they practice or do, you will still go down in a cycle and go back up. There's never someone who's just got it all figured out and we get to this point in life where everything is perfect and we're like, oh wow, like I have life sorted, tick, done. Main reason I'm here, I've achieved it. And I love to talk about this because I think that if more of us maybe speak about our humanness and where we're at in life, one thing that really just always brings me back to this is my favorite. I have many favorites, but one of my favorite quotes ever is vulnerability breeds vulnerability. If you're able to share that you are also not doing so great or that you went through a tough time, you make other people feel, oh wow, okay, that's actually, it's normal and it's okay to speak about. I don't know where the stigma came in society where we were taught only show your best self to the world. Do you know how exhausting that is? When you're feeling like a mess inside and you have to put on this big mask and be like, I'm totally fine. It's exhausting. So I would like to come here and just say, despite having gone through a lot the last time I was recording, my nervous system reminded me before recording this just how far I've come and how much healing can happen and how far you can get even when you really, really think, I'm never going to heal from this. When you really think how deep you're feeling, and if you are just going through the toughest time, sometimes it can feel so consuming. It can feel like it's never going to end. And I'm here to remind you that it ends. It always ends. There's always the up after the down. That is the cycle method. And that helps me a lot because when I'm going through, I don't have perfect days. There's days where I just want to lie in bed all day and I don't want to be productive and I'm feeling exhausted or I'm feeling fatigued or whatever it may be. And I just do that. I have the luxury of that. Let's be honest. Not everybody has that luxury. But at the end of the day, it's about more just recognizing, understanding that when there's lows, it's okay to embrace those lows. They're not bad. You don't need to feel guilty for them. And they're part of life. And once you start embracing that they're part of life, the ups feel so freaking good because you haven't demonized the downs. So anyways, that's my little update. I am going to dive deeper into this, into all things breakup. I'm not going to go into my specifics of my breakup, but I would love to share the learnings of how I have become, and I'm not exaggerating, I've become the fullest, most me version of me in the last year. And that's just the beginning because we're constantly learning and growing. But this time alone, because I did it in a certain way and I embraced it and I took this time for me, I think I've gained years of my life because being so fully me again, there's nothing that feels better than that. There's no partner that can give that to you. There's no situation or job, and that feels so good. So I can't wait to share more specifics in that episode when I do speak about it. And yeah, just conversating a little bit about how you can embrace breakups, or even if you're just single, or if you're in a relationship, how you can carve out time for you and to get to know you. So I'm very excited for that. And what I came on here to do is basically just say what you can expect. And as per usual, I'm going to be speaking about the nervous system regulation. That is what I'm so passionate about. I wish more people understood how much lies in our nervous system. And if you can start to look after your nervous system and listen, how much more you're going to show up as in the world. So yeah, I'm very, very excited to share more about that. But I'm also going to be sharing a whole range of things as like the last season kind of touched on that, but I'm going to be expanding into all things. Like I said, navigating breakups, how to be alone. I'm going to be speaking about boundaries during the holiday season and how to really feel feelings, because I've realized not many people know how to feel their feelings. It's just something people say, like, oh, you need to feel that, like you need to feel through that. It's not as easy and simple as it seems. So I'm going to talk through that. There's so many episodes. I'm very, very excited to share. But there's going to be a whole range of things, ranging from mindsets to habits to self-protection to healing to nervous system. And they all interconnect because, and I mean, that's actually when I started this whole thing, is why I called myself Holistic Dance, because I think that humans are so intricate, but they're also so unique. And you have to look at an individual and you have to look at yourself in a holistic way. You can't just look at yourself from one side of the spectrum. And that's what we're trying to incorporate in this season and forever and ever, as long as I sit here and record. So I'm very excited to be back, and I just want to say a huge thank you to every single person who's here, the people who've been messaging me, like people who I don't even know, to ask when the next season is coming and how much it affected them. Like, these comments, I'm not gonna cry, have honestly, like, these are tears of gratitude, have changed my life, because I realized that when you're in your purpose and when you're doing what you love, you will just naturally just attract people who need to hear what you have to say. And I was actually telling I have this little girls group, and I was telling them the other day that one of the biggest reasons I sit here and I put myself out there is I learned so much and I healed so much by other people being vulnerable, especially in the online space. It can be anywhere. It can be in a book. It can be in person. But I personally healed a lot through that. And the fact that I'm here now doing what I healed from is such a gift, but in itself also such a stark reminder for anyone watching that if you have anything to share with the world, like I said, it doesn't have to be on social media. It can just be an idea. It can be a concept. It could be a business. It could be whatever. You could painting, art, whatever it is. I'm here to remind you that when you are in your flow and when you are doing what you love, it must just fill you up so much, like how I'm feeling sitting here right now. The people that you attract along the way will change your life. They think you are helping them, but they are helping you back. It's a beautiful give and take. It's a beautiful cycle. So from that point of view, I just wanted to say thank you so much for being here, for showing up for yourself. That actually just melts my heart, for just taking care of you. I love that humans are, what it feels like to me, slowly progressing towards looking after themselves, because you realize eventually that the only person to do that is you. I'm very excited to share so many beautiful thoughts, some personal stories. I'm also going to be expanding 2 little things. I'm going to be expanding on YouTube. I would love to do a little bit more. I feel like now, where people have messaged me, I'd like to share a little bit more about myself. So as well as the podcast being on YouTube, which you can watch, there's also going to be, I'm going to start a new playlist pretty soon about myself, my life, my journey, because I've gotten a lot of questions in the interim, in this pause. So I'm just going to share a little bit more there. So that's exciting. And the second thing that I can sort of mention is that I have something very big coming very soon. I can't tell you exactly what it is right now, but I feel like I have to say it so that you get excited, because I am so excited. I think it's going to be really, really amazing. And that's all I'm going to share. I'm going to say in a few weeks, so it's not too long from now, I get to announce it, which is very exciting. And when I do announce it, I'm going to have a very big episode on imposter syndrome and how somewhere along the lines we learned that we are not good enough to share certain things and that we feel like imposters in our work. And I can't wait to dive into that episode, because it's been very relevant for me this year. Anyways, I'm so grateful to have you here. I'm grateful to be sitting in this beautiful chair, in this beautiful studio, and I look forward to sharing everything soon, to interacting with this beautiful community. And just a little reminder, the light that you're constantly seeking outside of yourself is waiting to be acknowledged within. Have a beautiful day. See you next week.